You think you can monitor him just with a collar? Think again. The next frontier isn't around his neck. It's inside. And every heartbeat, every step, is being sent to this, your cell phone. This is the evolution of affection. But what is the real price of this constant surveillance? The answer lies in understanding the science. And I'll show you exactly how to navigate it in 4 simple steps.
You know, if you've ever had a dog, you already know the deal. You get all these years of just pure loyalty, so much joy, and really the best friend you could ever ask for. And in return, you get what feels like a fraction of a lifetime with them. It's just an unfair bargain, isn't it? But it's a bargain that technology is now promising to completely rewrite. So let's just get right into it. We're going to start with a feeling that every single dog owner knows in their bones. That simple, painful truth. That our time with them is just way, way too short. I mean, this quote it hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's this universal feeling, this kind of shared grief that the clock is ticking way too fast. And that is what's fueling this whole technological revolution in pet health. It's the why behind literally everything we're about to talk about. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Let's start with what sounds like the most audacious promise of them all, the scientific quest to literally extend the lives of our best friends. And listen, this isn't science fiction anymore. A startup called Loyal is right on the verge of developing drugs that could actually delay the aging process in dogs. Check this out. Their main one, LOI-002, is a daily tablet for older, medium to large dogs. It works by tackling metabolic issues to help head off those age-related diseases. And the really exciting part? This isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. It has already cleared a major FDA hurdle, showing what they call a reasonable expectation of effectiveness. They're even working on other versions specifically for giant breeds, trying to fix that extra cruel part of the bargain, their tragically short lifespans. But with a promise that big comes enormous pressure. And this number? That's the estimated amount Americans spent on their pets just in 2024. When a market is that massive, the race isn't just about science, it's also about profits. And that creates this powerful incentive to move really, really fast, maybe even faster than the science can keep up. And here's a really fascinating twist. The CEO of Loyal actually believes that because we share so much with our dogs, our homes, our environments, even our diets, the secrets to helping them live longer could unlock secrets to our own longevity. It's pretty wild to think that our health and our pets' health might be more connected than we ever imagined. So we've talked about adding more years to their life, but what about adding more life to their years? This is where that mission to rewrite the unfair bargain gets, well, even more incredible. We're not just talking about longevity now. We are talking about restoration. So let's dive into the amazing world of bionics, where technology is giving dogs a second chance at just being able to move. And this shows the 2 main ways they're doing it perfectly. On the left, you've got the traditional exoprosthesis. Just think of it like a custom-fit socket that straps right onto what's left of the limb. But on the right, well, that's something much more futuristic, the endoexoprosthesis, where the device is actually surgically anchored directly into the bone. So here's the crucial trade-off. The standard exoprosthesis is non-invasive, it's pretty common, but because it relies on all those straps and sockets, it can lead to some really painful skin sores and chafing. The endoexo, on the other hand, gets rid of all those skin issues by connecting straight to the skeleton. It promises a much more natural feel, but as you can probably guess, the procedure is a lot more complex and still very, very new. Now, the science that makes this all possible is called osseointegration. Basically, it's the process of getting living bone to literally fuse with a metal implant, so they become one single stable unit. It's the magic behind that advanced prosthetic. But it's also where the real danger lies. So while the promise is just incredible, the reality is incredibly complex. There's a really high risk of infection, right where the implant comes out of the skin. There are also these big questions about how long these implants can even last, and whether the bone anchor can really hold up to the daily pounding of a dog running and playing. To make this work, you don't just need a great vet. You need a whole team of vets, engineers, and designers, all working together perfectly. Okay, let's switch gears and head to the digital frontier, artificial intelligence. Here, the promise isn't about extending life or rebuilding limbs. It's about seeing into the future, about diagnosing these awful diseases before they can even take hold. This is absolutely mind-blowing. There's a company called miRNA developing an AI tool that can spot osteoarthritis, a really painful condition that affects up to 1 in 5 dogs, all from a simple blood test. A single drop of blood. This could mean catching the disease months, maybe even years earlier, which would allow for treatments that could dramatically improve a dog's quality of life. But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive peril when this kind of powerful tech gets into our hands. Relying on some AI chatbot to diagnose your dog is just incredibly risky. An AI can't do a physical exam, right? It can't feel for lumps or listen to a heart. It might misinterpret vague symptoms you type in, like lethargy, and suggest something harmless when the real cause is life-threatening. And at the end of the day, an algorithm has no way of understanding your dog's unique personality and little physical cues, which are so often the very first sign that something is actually wrong. And this just says it all. A veterinarian brings years of training, of experience, of intuition that an algorithm simply cannot and probably will never be able to replicate. They see the whole animal, not just a list of symptoms that were typed into a box. That human element of care is, and honestly will always be, completely irreplaceable. So all of this, the longevity drugs, the bionic limbs, the AI diagnostics, it brings us to the ultimate question. With all these world-changing technologies on the horizon, who should be in the driver's seat? Who should be guiding this revolution? And, just look at this. You get a real sense of how complicated this all is. It is not as simple as a developer having some brilliant idea and then just coding it into existence. This flowchart, it shows the whole maze you have to navigate to build something that's not only effective, but also ethical. You need engineers, you need data scientists, and this is critical, you need animal welfare experts at the table from the very beginning. And that's really the problem, isn't it? Right now, so much of this development is driven by tech companies with commercial goals, not by welfare experts. The sources for this explainer point out that animal welfare scientists are rarely even involved in the process. And without their input, we risk creating tools that are inaccurate, tools that use the wrong metrics for well-being, or that are just completely disconnected from the reality of actually caring for an animal. We need collaboration to make sure these tools actually help and don't end up causing harm. So we end with this question. The promise of more time, of restored mobility, of a life free from pain, it feels like it's within our grasp. But the peril is that in our rush to grab it, we might lose sight of what truly matters most. As this amazing technology rewrites that unfair bargain we make with our pets, it's really on all of us to make sure we're writing a better deal for them, not just for us.
Now that you know the science, tell me, would you implant the chip in your dog? Let me know below.